up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You bet.
What up? What up? What up? Welcome in here to Pregaming on the Sports Money Network. I'm your host, Mikey Money, coming at you guys live Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Going to talk to you guys about college basketball, the NBA, and the NHL as we look forward to an evening of action. All right, there it is. Jesus. I'll tell you, I spent all day hawking a bet, and it just now became available. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to take advantage of it. I will share it with you guys because that's what we do here. We all work together to try to, unite. Common goal. All looking at the same scoreboard the same way, and that is to try to take cash out of the bookies' pockets and stick it in our own. I'm waiting. Come on, DraftKings, get with the program. We got the World Baseball Classic. The World Baseball Classic's underway this week as well. Also, some things to notate. We have the trade deadline for the NHL on Friday. So I'm not sure what that's going to do to the overall here. They're talking about teams trying to show whether they're buyers or sellers, but we had afternoon hockey. Sadly, it was a push for premium subscribers. It's funny. Take a second to talk about this. I think I know who it is. I think we all know who it is. They're not welcome in this community any longer. But Joker's talking about, this guy talks about winning 100 units, being the best capper, this and that. Let me ask you a question. Is it anger? Is it jealousy? What is it that makes somebody be such a pile of dog shit? I mean, that's what I'm curious about in this situation because it's all shared. It's all factual. It's all tracked. I guess I'm just supposed to put my head down and be like, we're not the best baseball cappers on the planet. We didn't crush the NFL with over 45 units this year. I don't know. Man, I guess if we don't talk, maybe because they're losers and they're tired of losing. And they certainly get mad when they hear about winners. I'll bet you what I can surmise as happens in this situation is it's some low-life pile of dog shit. I know who it is. They moved from the West Coast to the East Coast. They live down there in the old Panhandle. Allegedly. And they probably fade. I'm going to bet they play the fade game. I'm going to fade this guy. I'm going to fade him. Fade all his play. And then they're losing. So when I got to come out here and recap that we're winning, it chaps that ass. And that gets me excited. It motivates me more than you guys even know. I mean, losing sucks, but winning's great. And you want it to be contagious and run on forever. We cashed over 10 units of profit here live on Pregaming last week. It concluded yesterday with 2 of the 3 golf players I gave you finishing in the top 10 for the PGA, or top 20, excuse me. I told you guys live bets on Friday in the, what happened? All right, where'd it go? Live bets on Friday in the PGA. We had Hojgaard. We had Shane Lowry. And then I think it was Seamus Powers. Seamus Power lost power. He crashed. But the other 2 guys got there plus 135, and I believe it was plus 185. So we were like 10.5 units of profit last week here. In the new time slot. So I'm digging it, you guys. This used to be my shut my eyes for 20-minute window and then pop them open and be ready to fire off for the rest of the evening. So I've got to readjust as well, but we're going to keep making money. I'm going to keep doing it. Now, I do have a free play out there for everybody for the 7 o'clock window. It's a side and a total. One of them is a premium play from Winnable. I put it out there for you guys on Instagram. You can check out the Instagram free play of the day. I'm going to try to bring that thing back here. I took a little hiatus while I was revamping some things here. I'm working on the office set as well. You can probably see the fuzziness around the back of my head. Oh, there's a little sneak peek of some stuff that's coming in the background, but it's not quite ready yet because this is not a machine screw. So that is a problem. Now, no problems here, though. We had a nice UFC card this weekend. Ground out some props, some nice dogs, man. That thing worked out a lot better than I expected. 2 weeks in advance, I'm seeing minus 900s going, oh, shit. But we cashed the likes of King Bobby Green, Nunes. I mean, we were on fire. We had the over 1.5 round. We had some good spots out there that cashed for us. So that makes it all worthwhile. We got Major League Baseball just 3 weeks around the corner before we try to defend the best capper on the planet crown. And I think that makes him mad. I think they get mad hearing that. I mean, you have to earn it. You can't just self-proclaim it. 1 unit bets, flat bet everything. No crazy 30. We won 38 unit parlays. We didn't count those. But we popped off. It was 152.5 units. That was the official number last baseball season. So I'm excited, man. 3 weeks away. I've been putting the research in. The NFL opened up their trade or their, I guess their calendar, their new year, their new season. I don't know what you call it. It's out there now. And there's been some movement. You know, it's funny how David Montgomery seems like he might be a weaselly piece of shit. And allow me to explain. You were called out for saying you wanted a trade. I saw it 4 days ago. Then he responded, his agent responded, everybody unequivocally denied. And then I see this morning he's going to be down in Houston. So that fucks up Houston's integrity for this coming season. Some things that we have to factor into the equation out there with CJ Stroud and the rest. Tyreek Hill. They're talking about maybe a Patriot. They're talking about Dobbs. Romeo Dobbs potentially becoming a Buffalo Bill, and A.J. Brown looking to move on out, as is Dallas Goedert. So Dallas Goedert wants to move on. A.J. Brown wants to move on. Just a couple of highlights that I saw out there. Deebo Samuel will not be back with the Commanders next year. Rumor is the 49ers are a suitor for this guy. But I saw a couple NHL picks today. Nothing really doing. You know, it'll be interesting to see what the Predators do. They've been trying to show people that they are a buyer, not a seller. They lost today. If you followed that game, 4-2 final, we pushed the best bet at 6. I had Detroit in the over 5.5 and Detroit in the over 6.5. I gave out free play Detroit in the over 6.5, so that did not cash. But hey, Detroit put that one in at the end of the second period from a shorthanded. I needed it because my hockey yesterday sucked. I told you guys we had a great winnable day. We won in PGA. We won in NBA. We won in college basketball. And then I put up a donut, an 0 for 3 in the NHL. So my pride it's hurt a little bit. But I know the haters like that. They like hearing that we lose. They don't like hearing that we win, but they're comfortable hearing about us losing, which makes sense because it doesn't happen often enough. So big things in the works, though, you guys. Appreciate everybody that has been building this community with us here as we continue to go. You guys know the deal. The likes, the thumbs up, the feedback, the comments are all the most important things you can do. So if you haven't done so already, take a time out, go over there, smash that thumbs up button, and we'll get to work. We'll go through all of these hockey games, NHL games, NBA games that we have on the docket. I added a game as well. We'll talk about that in just a minute. You know, I would say that, I don't know, can I blame John Gibson for that game not going over 6? You know, he played the first period. He got hurt. They took him out. Second and third period, he's not the guy. And I've told you guys before, when the goalie comes out and they have to make those last-minute changes, they start playing defense. And defense they played, they shut down Nashville. They kept them to just 2 goals overall on the game. And it was that empty netter with like 20 seconds left that got the Red Wings over there. So that's a real-life example, you guys. When these goaltenders come out, and I talk about how NHL starts from the crease and builds its way out, I've compared before the baseball players and their ERAs to goaltenders and their goals against average. The only difference is a baseball player plays 5 innings. Some of them will play 6 or 7. I got it. But for all intent and purpose, with the exception of Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, and who else am I leaving off this roster? Shohei Ohtani, if he's healthy. The rest of the league is 5-inning guys, so it's not quite the same. It shouldn't be weighted the same, unless you're a first 5 player. But I pulled out the notebook. I told you guys at the end of every season, take some notes. What worked well, what didn't work well. You want to try to ramp up fast, right? Like if you're a trend better. I had a great conversation with my guy Shark today. We were laughing about the guys that'll read off like their standings and, they're reading the newspaper. I could do that on my own. I want innovation. I want creativity. I want to find outlets that nobody else is talking about so that we can go out there and cash before everybody else hears about it. Because by the time you hear about Duke unders being a wheel, we've cashed like 9 of our last 10. Eastern Washington's cashed 7 in a row. People are talking about these guys now, Eastern Washington. Stephen F. Austin being one of the best cover teams in the country. Well, now they're falling off just a little bit. So we got to be on top of that. We got to be in front of that. We got to be creative. Like when we heard about the San Jose Sharks fade, cashing 24 straight times and taking that Calgary Flames spot the other night. Those are the things that are going to get us to the promised land. So we will continue to be innovative, adaptive. I'm actually looking at a new first of all, the annual bills came due for, I don't know who the fuck starts March 1st as a billing cycle, but I guess I did. And the annual bill, we talk about tools, technology, and then expertise, right? The experience comes together, and that's like we talked about on Saturday, where it's like, all these guys that have big price tags and everyone thinks they're going to finish a fighter in the first round. You should automatically be thinking decision unless there's mitigating circumstances, right? That's experience that tells us that. We don't need to keep losing the same way before we realize, these big price tags aren't hitting. I mean, MMA Jeff used to like to fade the biggest favorite on the card. Just play the biggest dog, because you do that enough, you're going to cash out over the long. It's a long game, not just a short game. But, I think as it relates to the tools and technology, I don't know who the fuck decided March 1st was a good renewal date, but I woke up yesterday morning feeling pretty good, getting my cup of coffee. I'm getting the day started, and then bam! It's like, oh my God, we got to win some bets here because they all came due at the same time on the 12-month plan. So that being said, I am excited because I am evaluating yet another form of technology that can help us win bets here. I've been piloting it 5-1 the last 6 plays over the last 3 days. So stay tuned if I can come up with another layer of technology to help us try to find an edge and an advantage. It's only going to make us better for it. So that's what we do here at Sports Money. You guys know the deal. We're trying to build this thing. We're trying to load share. We don't need you guys to go out there and buy your own little widgets and gadgets. We'll do that for you. We'll work together and we'll share the cost amongst the masses so we can all get more wise when it comes to our sports betting. In the meantime, though, if you want to check out some best bets, you want to find out my favorite plays, want them all to win, of course, want all these plays to win, want everything I talk about to win. But the ones that I feel the confident about, the most strongest about out there are certainly available via Winnable. And look, 50, 60 cents a day. You can get in the game, get all my best bets, premium selections, early action, middle, live betting action, you name it. With text alerts, you'll never miss the plays when they drop. Hey, it's Mikey Money here, letting you know the Sports Money team is live on Winnable. Come check out our best bets.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays, and they're sent right to your phone right when we drop them.
Don't wait, don't guess, don't miss the line. Join the winning team today and start cashing tickets with Winnable.
All right, let's kick this thing off. Let's talk about a shout out to the chat first and foremost. All you guys, appreciate you. Love you guys being here, man. Don't matter if it's a new time slot. I know some of you guys may be watching on the replay, and look, you got to do what you got to do. But appreciate you that do tune in after the fact. But for you guys that make it here live on a daily basis, that means a lot to me. And I'm ready to share with you guys here. I'm going to try to start working on timestamps as well, because a lot of you guys had some good feedback. It's a pain in the ass, let me tell you that. But there was nonetheless some good feedback on the old timestamps. 4-leg parlay to kick this thing off. I just blew it there, but let's talk about it here. Let me give you guys a team total. I was just sitting here. I was trying to have a little fun. Sometimes you get done with the work a little early, and then you sit there and you're like, all right, well, let me just start thinking 3-dimensionally or 4th-dimensionally, as I had a friend that used to talk about here. I got a 10-1 4-leg team total parlay for you guys here. Team total 4-leg parlay. And I think it makes an absolute ton of sense there. I wouldn't be giving it to you guys here, but I got to start it off in college hoops, and I'm going to go to the IU Indy Cleveland State game. The sharp respected betting information came in. They are taking this IU Indianapolis team, and it's a coin flip. +1.5, -1.5. Those be the situations. So when it comes down to it, you got to look at it and you got to assess exactly what we're trying to do. I got to fix a mistake here. Mistake is fixed. But anyhow, I digress. Let's talk about this Cleveland State spot there. The sharp respected betting report came in on Cleveland State. I'm sorry, on IU Indy. Let me try that again. Jesus, I got distracted with a message that came in here. 4-leg parlay for you guys. I'm looking at team total unders. The first leg of the team total correlates with the sharp respected betting report. I am looking at taking the Cleveland State team total under in the horizon. We talked about it. My guy C-Mac and I laughed about the horizon and the overs. But look, if IU Indy is going to win and it's a pick 'em and they're both sitting at 84.5, most likely then Cleveland State's team total has to go under, especially with a team that likes to shoot the three and can miss the ball and put it together in bunches. I think that's a great way to kick off our 4-leg parlay card out there. I'm going to have 2 in the NHL for you guys. I'm going to the Columbus Blue Jackets team total under. I added a play, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I'm going to go to the Columbus Blue Jackets team total under. Both these teams struggling to find the back of the net. The Rangers at home, we know what they've been doing. This is 3.5, so it's a little juiced up, but I felt like, hey, you know what? This is a 4-3 type of game, and the Rangers end up winning. I'm going to be mad, but at least I'll have cashed this team total spot. I looked at leg number 3, the Vancouver Canucks team total under. This one just comes down to they're struggling, right? Dallas is in a huge opportunity tonight. A big winning trend in the advantage of the Dallas Stars here. But on the flip side, you've got the Vancouver Canucks. They ain't it right now. You look at this Canucks team out there, 3rd fewest goals per game. Dallas allows the 3rd fewest goals a game. So Jake Ottinger and company should have a fine night this evening for the Vancouver Canucks under. That's a 2.5. And then last but not least here, I wanted to get it to 4 legs, and I thought creatively around the Milwaukee Bucks. I've got the Celtics and Bucks game. We'll talk about the game itself as a whole. But for me, I looked at it and thought to the end of the day, we do have another pick'em type of situation. And of the board tonight in the NBA, teams that have been struggling to get to 100, well, one of the number 1 spots out there tonight are the Milwaukee Bucks. 97 points against the Bulls, 98 points against the Knicks. They did put 118 up on Cleveland. They did put 128 up on Miami. Prior to that, they put up 94 against Toronto. So 3-2 to the less than 100 points in the last 5 games out there. That 107.5 brings us to a 10-1 4-leg team total parlay. That's the way we're going to kick this card off. And we're going to move on to the Dallas Stars Vancouver Canucks game out there. I told you guys about this a little bit in the onset, and I've got to take the under 6 in this game. And I'm okay if you can only get the 5.5 if the lines are moving or you're trying to get the better money. I mean, we know 4-2 situations. We just saw it with this Detroit and Nashville game out there. Very likely to happen, but I was able to get a 6. They are widely available. A little bit of juice. I mean, there's some -112s, -115s, -120s. And it just comes down to that 3 things. 1, goaltending. We're sitting there looking at Jake Ottinger. This guy spent plenty of time sitting on the bench during the Olympic gold medal run. And listen, going in, he played well. Last start, 25 of 27 saves, 3-2 overtime win. That was a big comeback game against that Nashville Predators team. So Nashville's up against the brinks right now. buying or selling here. We may see, and guys like Steve Stamkos, who I'm a fan of Stammer, willing to waive his no trade clause to get the heck out of Nashville. So we're going to start to have to look at fading this Predators team. But that being said, first time in 5 games that he allowed fewer than 3 goals. So Ottinger got a little bit of that gold medal-itis, and I think he's been playing a lot better. This Vancouver Canucks team, 0-3-2 in their last 5 games. So they're going to go to Tolopilio. I don't even know, but it don't matter who. I'm going to take the under 6. Third fewest goals scored, third best goals allowed. And this is a great opportunity for us to take advantage as we move on to game number 2. I'm going to go to this added board, 21:30 on the clock here. New York Rangers. I'm going to take the under in this Rangers game as well. Looking at the numbers, the X's and O's, the Jimmies and the Joes. We've got Merzlikins confirmed starter. Speaking of the Olympics, not a gold medalist, but Igor Shesterkin on the other side for the New York Rangers. Clearly, I think that, Merzlikins comes back from the Olympic break out there, and he got shelled. He let up 3 goals on 22 shots. But that's about his average. He's an 88.7% save guy on the season. So, yes, it was a loss to the Bruins. They had a nice little 3-game winning streak. Do they get back into stride? The problem that I had is I see that Werenski, gold medalist himself, on a hell of a point streak as well. I think he's got a 9-game point streak out there. Sick. Questionable for tonight's game. And so whether he plays or not, I still like the opportunity that your team was hot. Now you're falling off a little bit, and your point streak guy is sick. The Rangers scored 2 or fewer goals in 5 of their last 6 on top of it. So Shesterkin coming back from the All-Star break and the injury out there, the Olympic break and the injury. I think this is a good low-scoring affair, and it was an ad for me when I saw the Werenski news. Now, it doesn't matter to me whether he plays or not. It's just the fact that that leading indicator, the weather vane, the windsock, if you will, are all pointing to the fact that that should be a lower-scoring affair. And I concur, especially knowing that they are at the Garden for the New York Rangers. So firing down the line, boys and girls, we're going to talk about the Avalanche and the LA Kings. And this is a fun spot. This is a little fun guy for you. Couple things to look at. I told you there was a play that I've been hawking all day. Furthermore, I posted a tweet yesterday. I don't know if you saw it or not, but it's amazing because the LA Kings fired their coach. What's amazing about that is before the All-Star break, before the Olympic break, they're in a position where they acquire pieces from the New York Rangers. Then they deal with the injury at the Olympic Games. And so they come back and they get thumped a couple times, and it's like, boom, the coach has got to go. So if you read the tea leaves in that, they were acquiring new pieces because they were going to go for it. They started off sluggish. They had a hell of a year last year on home ice. We saw that. This year it started off a little slack, a little lackluster. They're just 9-13-7. They do have the Colorado Avalanche coming into town. But we have the fired coach first game syndrome happening right now. And look, the Chicago Blackhawks took a thumping against the Colorado Avalanche 3-1 the other day. Prior to that, though, the Minnesota Wild, who just got blown out yesterday, beat up this Colorado Avalanche team. So I think that they're vulnerable. They're very capable of going out there, taking a few L's. And it is a little bit of a revenge spot for this Kings team. 5-2, they lost earlier about, 2 months ago to this Colorado Avalanche team. So I'm going to look at the angle. I know it's greasy. I know it's uncomfortable, but you're catching a plus 150 price tag on a Los Angeles Kings team that is in a coach just got fired situation. And if you haven't seen the picture, it's funny because I looked at it. I thought about Jim Carrey when he's got the Wachudos there, when he was in Ace Ventura 2. I didn't know the Wachudos were biters. And the coach's picture there. Kind of a weird thing. It caught my attention as they brought a coach in. I believe he was with the Senators. Like normally, this is where you can tell if you're trying to read the tea leaves on a team pushing forward or not. You're promoting within because you're just trying to kind of keep things, you're trying to stabilize, right? You're trying to stop the bleeding. These guys brought in a coach from the outside. So I like it, man. I like all the signs of them. I don't like their results, but look, the results are like reading the newspaper. Somebody's got to predict some outcomes here. And I predict that this LA Kings team makes a run for it here tonight. Plus 150 is a really reasonable price tag when all signs point to fade. I point to play. And then I wanted to talk to you guys about a player that I think has a good opportunity to get some production tonight. And this one comes down to well, this one comes down mostly to opportunity. Kenny Connors is the guy that I'm looking at out there. And you might be saying, who? He's 22 years old. He's a highly touted young prospect in this Los Angeles Kings organization. And bring him in. He's coming up. He's getting his call to the show tonight for an opportunity to fight with the squad out there. So I like it. And I'm just looking here. They've moved him to the third line center. He will be centering Fogle and Corey Perry, another Olympian, both Olympians out there. So can he catch some of that Olympic-itis? Maybe. But at plus 900 for this dude to score a goal, yeah, it's worth a shot. Why wouldn't it be worth a shot? In fact, look, some of the talent that this guy's playing with, their top line guys, that Fogle guy, second power play unit out there for this feller. Corey Perry is a first power play unit guy. So I really like this guy's point production. I have not seen a point listed yet. And it's a later game tonight, so I suspect they're going to make us kind of wait on this thing. In fact, it looks like I'm hawking at you guys. I'm real-time hawking, trying to find this guy to get a point. So I'm going to look for that. I already got some cash down on his goal-scoring prop. It was plus 900. It is moving. It is catching some steam. So take a look for Kyle Connors. I'm sorry, Kenny. That's how much I'm involved in it. Kenny Connors, excuse me. Kenny Connors. And you got to look at this and respect this team because, again, showing us they're going for it. Fiala, Kuzmenko, Armia, Doty, Kemper, Moore. I mean, these guys are just 6 guys down with the expectation they should be winning. I'm going to take a shot with the Kings tonight. I'm going to take a shot with Kenny Connors. What do you guys think about that? Let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. 9 Legacy's got the paid in full parlay of the day. Maryland Eastern Shores, Houston Christian, Sacramento State, Weber State, all on the best bet. Oh, I think he said all on the spread. And then best bet would be the Washington Wizards for 9 Legacy. There's Peter Grassi. Says, let's cash again. Fucking hate, man. Let's do that. 9 Legacy's best bet. The Wizards plus 15.5 UT Rio Grande Valley. Northwestern State under 139.5. Shout out to Jay May. Shout out to Nicholas Handy. Shout out to The Solution in the house. Shout out to Trevor Davis. Blake Ebb says, stop it in real quick and luck to everyone tonight. I'll rewind the show in a bit. Appreciate you, Blake, man. I know you're one of the OGs, and I know this new time slot probably not the most convenient for you. So appreciate you stopping in to say, what up? 9 Legacy, Money Mike, what do you think about the Milwaukee Celtics game? Most people are on the under, but the total went all the way up to 216.5. We'll talk about it. I'll talk about it briefly. I got a premium play on that game. Jay Main says AJ Green, 3+3s, 7 straight home games with Greek. And he's 8 of his last 10 overall from Jay Main, chiming in with some good action for you guys. So that's a pretty good rundown on the NHL here tonight. Now keep in mind, can't hide from it. Hasn't been our finest moment, but we're going to move over to the college hardwood because that has been really good to us here. And we've got ourselves South Carolina State, some MEAC road opportunity against Delaware State. And we love intersecting zeros. Sometimes if there's 1 0, it's good, but we like when they intersect. And that's what they do here. We've got ourselves an opportunity in this action to back the road squad in South Carolina State. Now, this whole board screams great opportunities for us. Obviously, there's 2 big games. I told you about the Duke NC State play that's out there. You can check it out on Instagram. I've got a side and a total. I got some trends to back them up. There's a big spot tonight. You may have heard about Iowa State and Arizona. I've got a premium play on that one as well. But look, these MEAC, these middle tier conferences have been darn good to us here. And you got to respect the fact that SC State going on the road, opened as a small dog, 61. Actually, look at this now. Look at this. It was just 61% of the bets. It's now 78% of the bets, 81% of the cash coming in on this SC State side of things here. So do we have ourselves a public dog? It was only a year ago. Delaware State used to hang up posters saying, if you play basketball, come try out for the team. We have a game tonight. That's what's going on with Delaware State. Welcome to D1. Hornets, and 4-4. They are against the spread at home, 3-12 on the road. Now, SC State's 5-12 against the spread on the road. And that doesn't instill a lot of confidence. I get that. I fully can comprehend looking at this thing going, how could he be so excited to take a bad SC team on the road? I'll tell you. They're 12-0 when they're between the fours and the team they're playing allows more than 6 threes. Great opportunity to get in. And now, basically what that's saying is they're coin flippy and they can make a bunch of threes. And every time they put up a 3, the other team puts up a 2. They're continuing to widen the gap. Basketball 101. Delaware State's 0-15 when they get a total over 132.5. They didn't cover by 10 or more points the previous game. And they're 3-12 straight up in those games. The thing is, it's the margin, right? We always try to look for the margin. They're losing those games by 8 points a game outright. That's a double digit if we've got the 2 or 1.5 in this case, 9.5. Let's not split hairs over a half a point out there. I think we take South Carolina State. I think them boys are going to be more than capable of going on the road, picking up this W in a 1-11 MEAC program for Delaware State. Maybe second guessing their decision to move to D1 basketball. Maybe not. I don't know. I know that they truly are in a position where they've got nothing to play for. I guess, South Carolina State, would they just get clobbered out of conference? I guess I didn't look at enough of their conference record to see, or out of conference early season record to see what they were playing with. But it won't matter because we're coming down to the final week of basketball play for a lot of teams here. We've got some conference tournaments starting now, starting early. Probably going to do a little bracket breakdown. I just registered for my bracket over on the SEN. I got the full package. Got the survivor, got the lone survivor, got the best bet, got the bracket, got the second chance bracket. I got all kinds of things going on out there. So if you haven't checked it out yet, the SCN is a great site we host, or we get involved with the survivor for the NFL over there. Real money, fast payouts. And we're going to do the same thing for March Madness. I might try to put together a bracket show. I'm not saying I'm a bracketologist by any stretch. Matter of fact, I do poorly when it comes to brackets, but kind of thinking I might give it a shot, go live, let you guys hear some of my thought process here as we try to build a bracket together and get her done. Get her done indeed. We're looking at Stephen F. Austin, friend of the show. Stephen F. Austin, not true, but friend of covering spreads, 19-2 on the onset. I talked about this being the best covered team in college basketball. All things considered, why not? Look at this line open at 8.5. It is dropping. 67% of the bets and 67% of the cash are on Stephen F. Austin. Yet it's come down to 66% and 67%. Now it's moving as we're talking. I'm going to double dip this game. I'm taking Stephen F. Austin. Now, we talk about the art and science of sports betting here. AKA the gut. Incarnate word sucks. I mean, look, they just won against Lamar, but was it the Northwestern State game? I can't remember which one we were just recently involved. I mean, they're basically a coin flip spot every time, and you're going to play a team that should run you out the gym. They just beat Houston Christian on the road, Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin, doesn't matter, home or away. 10-4 against the spread at home, 11-3. Against the conference, they're 13-4. Now, there is a world where you do fade Stephen F. Austin in profit. That is if they had 1 day's rest. They did just play against Houston Christian. They do have 1 day's rest. So I think we're getting a discount. I think the public's dummying this line down for us, and we're going to get a chance to take Stephen F. Austin in its glory and splendor. But I'm also going to add the under. It's Southland unders. It's conference time. Defenses need to start shoring up, and we're seeing the cavalcade of cash coming in on the over. 62% of the bets and 68% of the cash. Yet the line's gone from 144.5 to 142.5 out there. So yes, the public's banging away on the over. know the line's not showing respect. Southland unders have 94-71 run, but they've cashed 7 in a row, 9 of its last 10 times. And this is under season. If you're Stephen F. Austin, you need to tune up. You need to shut down an Incarnate Word team that we've seen struggle to put up a 49 pack before. Now, if the previous matchup in games went under, they tend to stay under. If it's between 139 and 144, that's the sweet spot for unders in college hoops. And that's where I'm going to get involved with it as well. So I'm going to double dip. I'm going to get involved because I just think we have to maximize opportunities when they're in front of us here. Last week is on its own. We've packaged it up. We've put the bow on it. We've moved it over to forget about it land after the recap here. But we have, in fact, been capitalizing in some of these must-fire situations. And I think that's where we are here tonight. So, not just that, but, well, I guess we'll leave it at that. That's good enough here. Double dip. No need to over-excite anybody and blow the bankrolls in spots like this. We're just going to put a unit on both. Flat bet. You know how we've been doing it all season long, continuing to grind. And grind indeed. Montana State, Northern Arizona. Oops. Let's go. If you're going to do the timestamps, you got to write down who it is that you're timestamping. Montana State, Northern Arizona, running out of season for sure. 62% of the bets, 71% of the cash on Montana State. 17-13 is Montana State out there, and they play pretty darn good at home. I mean, they're 7-4 against the spread. But in a case like this, you got Northern Arizona. They're struggling on the season. There's no bones about it. But for some reason, I kind of like these guys. I kind of like this sneaky little spot. Now, I'm looking at Northern Arizona, and what do we know about Big Skies? Well, we know we've got some under conferences. We know the Big Sky can go over. But I just looked at this line and thought to myself, this one's kind of, I would feel much better about the over if this thing was sitting around 148. In fact, it started at 142.5, and that kind of falls into that basketball sweet spot under range that I was just telling you guys about in the last game. So I'm looking towards the under. I haven't officially pulled the trigger there, but, if Northern Arizona did have an edge, I guess I'd have to say it's at home. And then look, Montana State. Here's the big thing for me with Montana State. They haven't done it once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, 9 times. If they got more than 12 turnovers and made more than 8 threes, they are 0-9 against the spread if the total's under 147.5. So after they play great, the books tend to overinflate. And that's where we don't want to hate. We want to cash. We're going to take a shot with this Northern Arizona squad here. Get as many points in your back pocket as you can, because I think you're going to need them. I don't suspect Northern Arizona wins outright, but I just think this is an overinflated Montana State spot there that we can capitalize on and get the old paperback from there. And the last game I got for you guys here is Weber State and Portland State on the college hardwood. We're going to talk about some WNBA, but I'm looking at this Weber State, Portland State spot, and I just told you about the Big Sky. Did I just tip my hand? Am I allowed to do that? It's my show, right? I could do that if I want. Look, 4.5 is the total. It's not moving. It's a frozen line on this Weber State side of things. You have 57% of the bets, 66% of the cash. I suspect it may move as we get closer. I mean, it's the last game on the card. So I suspect we'll probably find that situation going on there. But look, this is one of them opportunities. Yeah, we know the conference likes to run overs. We also know Weber State likes to run overs. In conference, the spread's between a 3 and a 7, between a -3 and a +7. So you got a 10-point window where Weber State runs overs, and they don't do it every so often. This is a storied school. I was going to say franchise. 19 years. You got 101-46 trend. That's a monster 69% win rate showing. Now, the Big Sky overs, I told you about this since in conference going back 4 years, 242 and 188. So, yes, there is that edge. But when the edge widens and we attribute it to a spot like Weber State, now, not only that, but put Weber State on the road. In the conference on the road, the overs are 76 and 32. So we're going to take a shot. And this is one of those plays where we're actually catching a little bit of a discount because the early action bought in on the unders. So I like the fact that we can jump in there, catch our right spot, right read. And I got 142.5. I mean, that's a steal of a number right now. That was at 3:00. So I'm okay with whatever the number happens to be that you can put in your back pocket here. I think you're going to catch a good opportunity for us to see points, and more points. I used to be a Weber State guy. I think Portland State's been kind of falling down the line here. So I would give a nod to Weber State. I would give you an extra little look there to say, hey, if you're looking to have some fun, you're looking to hot dog it at the end, kind of like what I did there with the team totals, where it's like, why not? Put all our work in. We put our time in on the card. Let's take a shot. And Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz will be the next game on the docket for us here as we move over to the NBA. We're keeping a brisk pace. I'm trying to keep the stamps tight for everybody because I know you guys like those out there. So let's see what happens here. Nine Legacies Money. Mike, what do you think about the Milwaukee Celtics game? Most people on the under. So let's talk about that just for a minute here. Man, the NBA is falling into form. Thank goodness. I see the lines falling. Okay. So obviously we're dealing with some player related information, some player related news. But as our friend Nasty Nate would say, the Celtics smash in this particular situation. Now, as far as the total is concerned, we've got the line open at 220.5. It did drop down to 215.5. 87% of the bets and 88% of the cash came in on the over. It's come down 5 points. So is it telling? Here's what's telling. It's the Bucks that tend to run to the over. Now, I told you about the team total under for the Bucks. So you can read between the lines and figure out where I'm going with this game, because I do think the over's in play, and it's the Bucks overs. When the total's 227.5 or less, that they end up going over the number. So do we see that out of the Celtics? Well, it seems to me like my apprehension about the total in this game would be, what if it's like 107.85? I better write that down. And the Celtics truly smash, right? Like, now we have a problem with the total because the Celtics did their job, but can the Bucks live up to their end of the bargain? 15 and 13, the Bucks are at home to the total. 10 and 21 to the under on the road. So despite their prevailing headwinds there on some of those games that I talked about showing us the unders, they're 15 and 13 to the over at home. So Celtics in general, with their smaller ball brand of basketball, tend to run more to the under. 4 of their last 5 games have gone under. That Celtics and Sixers game the other night, 114.98, glorious under. They smashed the Sixers. And then the Sixers, that was a spot I gave to our guy Barney. Shout out to Barney and a belated happy birthday. He messaged me. He said, what do you think about this? I said, I think the under in the Sixers game has to take a shot. And it did. And it cashed. But I'm going to go on to Denver. I'm going to look at this Denver Nuggets Utah Jazz game. It'd be a lot easier if somebody was jotting down my timestamps for me. Jerry Davis likes the under 116. The Futon Bet says no more 6 p.m. start. Futon Bets, thank you for being here, my dude. I'm glad that you found us at the 5 p.m. window. And the answer is no. No, I moved it up. We talked about it now for several months. From a lifestyle perspective, it sucks doing a show at 6. Also, it just gives me time to recycle some of these later plays and get them out there on social space. Gives more people time to tune in and check them out. But moreover, it was more of a decision that we're not using the injuries. Like, 3-4 years ago when I first started the 6 p.m. slot there, we were still kind of in the injury land, right? It matters to us if they're playing. We got to make sure that we get a read. And it's just less important now. You know, we talked about the 3 time slots that I'm a cash flow and situational guy. The 3 time slots that make the most sense to look at from a sports betting perspective. Well, they open overnight. They have limits, but you'll see, you know, syndicates and some sharper bettors try to fire away on their limits. So Ramon Scott covers you at 9 a.m. with the morning steam to talk about that overnight limitation movement. The books typically take the limits off around 12, 1 o'clock. So by 5, we can aggregate where did it open with limits? Where did it go when they took the limits off with sharp betting? And then how does that tie back at 5? And then by 6, 7 o'clock, I think that's probably just, you know, guys getting out of work going, hey, let me bet. I got $20. Let me throw it on a game. And, or I'll put it on a 4-leg parlay. So I felt like the data was being compromised a little bit with some of that 6 o'clock slate, but we've got a game here with the Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets. Tricky little spot, you know. So the Jazz, we know they stink, 18-42 on the season. We know that, you know, the Nuggets, when they're healthy, they can go out there and ball. We know that they have not been balling as much at Ball Arena as they had in the past, but this line's moved from 10.5 to 12.5. It's funny because I had a funny conversation with Shark earlier today. We were laughing about, like, guys will look at the spread and be like, oh, it's too many points. So what are they going to do? They're going to pivot away from it's too many points at minus 12.5. And they're going to go to the team total and they'll be like, oh, well, they'll go over 127.5. Well, 12.5. Okay, here's the news flash for you guys. And I know a lot of you guys know this, but there's some guys out there that bet these games and they're like, oh, the 12.5 is too many points, but they'll go out there and put up 127.5. The line's telling you it's going to be a beatdown. Beatdowns equate to starters getting out in the fourth quarter. Starters coming out in the fourth quarter suggest that sometimes they're not going to hit those team totals. So it's actually the opposite. When you start hearing guys give you that breakdown, I would advocate that you play the opposite way of those spots here. But that being said, I like the total in this one, and I like the over. Overs hit when the Nuggets are road favorites. That is a fact. That is 17-5 this season. 22 games in the stretch. It's 9-1 in its last 10. So that could be a little bit of a nod to the Nuggets. But if you're scared to play the Nuggets because of 12.5, then you're suggesting that the Jazz can hang in this game. And so to me, if the Jazz can hang in this game, don't sell yourself short on just one side. Get involved with the full squad, both sides. And the Jazz have an over trend in their own. When they face opponents that are lower scorers, they're 45-9 the last 3 seasons to the over. So in all, 23-10 are this Nuggets team to the over on the road. 21-10 are the Jazz team at home to the over. We take the over. Fire away on this thing. It's a big number for a reason. It shouldn't scare you, nor should the side for that matter. But the play that I like more than any of the rest in this spot is the over, and that's 241.5. So you catch yourself a reasonable number here. I track it at BetStamp. What did I get? Jesus, I got 243.5. That's my official number at 430. So I got one good on the group. I got 2 bad on the group. Shit. That's not where we want to play. But I got one last game for you guys in the NBA. Let's see here. Jay Manning says, Kyle Filipowski under 13.5 points. Yeah, right. The two-time bets that I had a timer set for you at 6. That's why I asked, so I can change it. If you happy we're making money, hell yeah, buddy. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, we had a 10-unit gainer last week. You know it, two-time bets. I appreciate you, man. That's what I love is the positivity in this community here. You guys willing to roll with the punches. And look, I know not everybody's going to be able to catch it at 5 o'clock. So if that means that you move to 6 and you catch the replay, well, good news is I'll have the timestamps in there for you. So all good. This is no downside. In fact, get excited because there are some new things in the works here. New shows, mergers. You talk about it. We're going to talk about it here. It's going to all be happening over the next, I don't know, call it 6-7 months here as we get ready for baseball season and then launching back into the football slate in the fall. Lots of big things in the works and a new show coming up for you guys. I think you're going to really like it. And it's going to be for Major League Baseball. I'm going to have a guest. We're going to talk about parlays. We're going to talk about props. We're going to talk about every game on the card and try to give you guys our assessment and opportunities to get paid. We'll have rollover challenges, all that fun stuff that goes into it. So get ready, get set. Let's go to this Clippers and Golden State game. Last game on the card, and an interesting one. I'm going to tell you, this one to me comes down to more of the art than the science. Because if you watch that game the other day, so we know Steph Curry's still out of this game, right? We saw what was going on out there and what they do with or without him. This line opened at plus 3.5 on the Clip show, and now they're minus 1.5. So the money's shifting into the Clipper side. 72% of the bets and 65% of the cash. Okay. Now, we could talk about when the Clippers played a team over 500 last year. This year, they've cashed 5 in a row. We got an interesting one. A team who won by 20 or more against a team who lost by 20 or more. Kind of I guess it's the bounce back versus the overinflated, right? The team that went out there and kicked the shit out of the other team, 163-99. So, yeah, there's a lot of edge to that and showing that this should be a Clipper spot. I don't disagree. I don't care so much that the players and who's playing and who's not. Now, the Warriors are home dogs in a revenge spot. Very dangerous. They're 17-8 in the last 4 years. They don't lose often. When they're in that revenge as the home dog, they do fire. However, they're 4-6 in their last 10. So it softens that win rate substantially. And then you got to start looking at things like body language. Did you see Draymond bitching to Steph the other day before that game? Or it might have been during that game there. The Warriors were taking on the Lakers and Draymond was running his mouth a mile a minute. And Steph Curry just looked like, shut up, dude. Why are you even still here? And to me, when your leader is checked out on one of the key personnel on the squad out there, you're fundamentally flawed basketball program. And that's good enough for me, regardless of home dogs and revenge bounce backs and the Clippers being sellers here. This line moved for a reason. And I think this is not an artificial move. I think this is a full-fledged get after it. Clippers go out there and beat some bottoms. That's why we're going to put the bow on the show, you guys. Appreciate you being here, man. We flew through it. I felt like we flew through it. We added quite a few plays. You got the parlay. You got the player prop I was telling you about there in Kenny Connors. We got free action out there. You can go get the Duke NC State breakdown. All things for you guys to try to use to help make informed winning betting decisions this evening. So on behalf of the Sports Money crew, thank you guys for being here. Tune in tomorrow, 5 p.m. I'll be back to do it again. We'll recap. If it's a winner, you know the haters are going to hate. Hate. And I hope it is a winner. I hope we all win big individually, collectively, as a community, and everything in life. So I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Good luck. Smash that thumbs up if you haven't. And leave me a comment after the show. Tell me what you like. Give me a reason why you like it. Let's work together to beat these books and continue to cash these bankrolls. Good luck to everybody this evening. See you guys tomorrow.